They were working on all that stuff.
I'd already come up with it, trying to get it. It was weird. Like, I'd never done it there. My buddy.
Where you make how much roof they can cover.
They got me sick in the mountains with something I was out. 5 days. It's what?
Scared of it. Yeah, I mean, they're walking around, they're like. Yeah.
You don't have anything. Yeah. Let me around, yeah, so like Tyson hit me. Why didn't I was Saturday night in our camper, like that thing was shelved right above the bed, I forgot. Bam, hit my head and went right back down to the desk, well, at least I was still underneath it. I said, boy, that hit. Where'd you guys go? We're down to Clearwater. Oh. Have you ever been over that Sierra Mark? State park over there. Pretty nice. I've been up to it. There's like a camping spot just right over there. Yeah. That's actually kind of a taxi kind of thing. Switching right out of the pub. We were going to take my mom to Kim for her birthday last Saturday. And I said, hey, what are you saying now? And I called her lady and I said, they'll be how long I thought the farm is. Oh, yeah. I guess throughout the whole day. Yeah.
All right, I call the regular council meeting of October 28, 2024 to order. Everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance led by Councilperson Winkleman. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, sir. We'll go ahead and take roll. Councilperson Bradley? Absent. Councilperson Kemper? Here. Councilperson Ginevra? Here. Councilperson Friedmeier? Here. Councilperson Fisher? Here. Councilperson Bailey? Present. Councilperson Winkleman? Here. Councilperson Massa? Absent. I do need to amend the agenda for new business. We have Mr. McKinney speaking speaking on behalf of insurance. So I will
make a motion to amend the agenda to include Mr. Kenny.
Under new business. Perfect.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda with changes made. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Madam Clerk, has the agenda been posted, dated, and signed? Thank you, ma'am. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of September 23rd, 2024, when you got a moment to look over those.
motion to approve the minutes of the last council meeting?
Yeah, the open session there, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Or the public hearing and stuff is all there, yeah.
Second.
All right. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on those minutes? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. I'll entertain a motion to approve the closed minutes of October 14th, 2024. They're in your binder, around there. Have you had it? Yep. Yeah, they had them. Yeah, they have a copy.
So moved.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those-
Mayor, yep, I want to ask about in the closed minutes, one of the presenters, two of the presenters were listed only by their first names, not their last names. Their company was identified. I didn't know if that was enough. Okay. It just seemed like that would have been more formal in those minutes to include first and last name if you
Yep,
would.
we'll
have
add that on there.
so
Yeah.
To
So,
better identify who was here at the meeting, present
that's
at the
fine.
meeting.
So with, those names,
With that amendment,
with those amendments, I'll entertain that motion.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Public comment, we had none sign up. Takes us to check register, bills, financial report, sales report. You can look in your packet. Our sales tax and everything is up overall, and then at that last column's the one that you really pay attention to on those numbers, on the sales tax, and then on the bills for like Mr. Bailey, you'll get an email of all the checks and everything. Those actually line up with everything that is in that, just to reiterate how that works, so. Once you have a moment to look at those, if you have any questions, I'll entertain a motion to approve those.
I'll make a motion to approve the financial reports.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on those?
I did have a couple of questions I wanted to find out more about. So when it's the Capital One Walmart card and Jason is here, how, I mean, all we see is it's credit card services, this amount. How does this, what's the city's procedure for Walmart or even any of, yeah?
Get the receipt,
Mm-hmm.
give it to Kathy, we have to put a number on it and sign off on it.
The
And
per,
then she puts it to the correct department.
okay, so the purchaser has to provide that
Yes, yes.
receipt, okay.
The receipt goes to Kathy, and then Kathy looks at it, and then we have the actual invoice at City Hall that any of us can just go request.
Itemize,
Mm-hmm.
so you see what was purchased.
Okay. I was sure there was a procedure, I just wanted to know what it was. And I also had a question about one for Empirical Training Solutions with CDL training. I don't know if that was
Mr. Turner?
That is, we normally pay $2,000 per employee, and we send them to
Mhm.
CDL training down in Ozark, Missouri. Well, Festus found a company that comes to your shop if you have 4 or more trainees.
Mhm.
So we tagged along with Festus this year and got our 4th trainee, so they came to our shop.
So, yeah,
And it was
$3,000 instead of
for all
$8,000.
3 guys instead of
Yeah.
2,000 per, so.
Plus our hotel and stuff that we always had to provide
Yeah.
down there. So there was substantial savings in it, and I believe we still have them, the workers sign a contract if, once they do that, it has to work so long.
They have to work for 3 years, or if they leave between them, they pay their 15.
Then they pay the tax, okay.
Yeah,
Thank you
pretty
very much.
thorough, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I have a motion and a second on the table. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. We'll move on to committee reports. Mr. Turner's report's in your packet. You have anything to add to that, Mr. Turner?
I did go out on Calvary Church Road this morning, and it's looking like they're on schedule. They were doing all the shoulder work, so hopefully Wednesday or Thursday, they'll put some asphalt down, so.
Perfect. Sounds good. I do want to point out that water chart on, it's right after I asked today, I found out what the potable water is at the very last column. So that's the water that's treated through the plant, but then the plant themselves use it.
Use it, okay.
Yeah, so
Makes sense.
that was it. So they produce a lot of good water there, so. Anyway, Chief Bova's packet is in there as well. They were busy. I'd like to point out, hang that football flag, or they hang the American flags for the football games at Crystal City, and they do a great job. And, Pat Friedmeier came back, and he's normally the one that does that, but, they came back from vacation, drove all day that day, and got it hung up for, last Friday night's game, and it's just a nice touch of a small town feel, so I really appreciate the fire department doing that, and Mr. Friedmeier, so. All right. Mr. Sullivan, you have anything else to add to yours?
Permits are continuing to stay up. We had 4 applications just come in today. So, it's good to see that that's still continuing, not slowing down, so.
Perfect. I like growth. All right. And that takes us to Chief Helms. Chief Helms, you have the floor, sir.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. If I could I have Patrolman Jeremy Myers and Jack Montgomery please come forward, / Corporal. We'll get to that. First time, sorry. Yeah. A little bit nerve-wracking, isn't it? I'd like to take just a couple minutes of your time tonight if I could. I would appreciate it. Recently, the Crystal City Police Department held a corporal promotional process. We had a total of 5 patrol officers in the process, and each officer did great in this process, and I'm proud of the 5 people that competed for these positions. We have a great police department. I'm really proud of them. The process was conducted by the Police Personnel Board, the Captain of Police, Mike Perno, and me. The process consisted of a written examination, an oral interview, and a review of each applicant's past performance. Upon the conclusion of this process, Patrolman, we'll call him right now, Jeremy Myers and Patrolman Jack Montgomery, were promoted to the rank of corporal effective October 1, 2024. So now we'll call them corporals. So, to stop there just for a minute, I just jotted a few notes when I pulled their files today, and just to give you a little history of these 2. Jeremy here standing beside me, I went through Lowe's one day years ago, and he was checking people out of Lowe's, and I guess he knew who I was. He said, one day I'm going to be a policeman. I could tell he was serious. So he gave me a little history and a couple of things that, one was an obstacle he was overcoming at the time. And I said, why don't you look the Crystal City Police Department up? So he did, and we didn't have any openings at the time, but we had a dispatch opening, and in 2013, he went to work for us as a police dispatcher. So he worked as a police dispatcher for a while, not real long, and then we had an opening, and he got hired as a police officer here at that time, which would have been about 2015. So Jeremy has served as a patrolman, as a school resource officer, a field training officer, training 7 of our past or present officers, a DARE instructor, which when I looked it up, it would have been in the hundreds of kids that he's taught in our school system over the past several years. Jeremy's instrumental in the success of our community programs. A couple examples is Shop with a Cop and National Night Out. A lot of times he will take the bull by the horns on special event stuff. We don't just go in Crystal City and Festus. Sometimes we're called to go to other agencies and represent the Crystal City Police Department. We do that for a lot of reasons, but a lot of times he will take the lead on that stuff. He's received numerous letters of commendation over the years. He received a life-saving award in 2021 where he risked his own life to save another. He's always willing to do what it takes to get the job done and always brings a positive attitude to the table, and I appreciate that. Jack Montgomery, standing beside him, began his career here in 2019. At the time, Crystal City needed a couple of police officers, so I went looking for him. And I recruited him and another individual we still have and is doing very well within our police department from the Mineral Area Police Academy. He served as a patrolman field training officer and has trained a total of 4 officers with our department. He's recently completed an advanced course in maintaining our DWI breathalyzer equipment, which I challenged him with that. Had to send him out of the area to do that. Not an easy course, so I appreciate that. He was appointed to the Jefferson County Crisis Council to help not only our department, but surrounding departments with mental health issues facing the field of law enforcement. 2022, he received a Crisis Intervention Award, where in Crystal City, he safely diffused an incident where a subject was having a mental health breakdown, was armed with multiple firearms and a hammer. During the incident, Officer Montgomery had a firearm pointed at him and was threatened with being shot. He's received 2 Officer of the Year awards. He's received multiple letters of commendation in his time with our department. He's received 2 life-saving awards, one in 2020, one in 2022. In one of those, he saved an infant's life at childbirth, something I haven't had to do in my long career. He also is always willing to do what it takes and get the job done, and always brings a positive attitude to the table. So tonight, I want to congratulate both of you on your promotion. I look forward to them continuing to serve in the Crystal City Police Department. Their hard work and dedication to the city and the police department has been recognized. Their leadership skills going forward will be valued in the overall operation of the police department. The police department in 2023 handled over 26,000 calls for service. 26,000 calls for service. So it takes a great team to be successful in law enforcement, and I have a great team. Some of those are sitting beside me, some of them couldn't make it, some are standing behind me. But I often like to say from the podium, sometimes is just a humbling statement. It's 10 years as your chief of police. I've been here since 1997. One thing I do know is we can be successful as a city, and I can be successful as your chief of police if I don't have these 2 and the people behind me. And I'm real proud of them. It's a tough world out there right now. We ask a lot of them, and they deliver time and time again. The majority of the things that these 2 do and the people behind me do often go unseen, but I see it daily when I come in. First thing I do is open my computer and look at what happened the night before. And when the mayor took over at some point, I had him come in my office, and I wanted him to see what goes on in Crystal City just to make sure he had an understanding of that. And sometimes it's a little mind-boggling in the world we live in. But I'm proud of them. It's our job to keep this town safe. We're committed to doing it. I know these 2 will be committed to doing it. Tonight, they will get their corporal badges pinned on them. Don't stick him. Don't stick him. We'll see how this goes. This don't always go smooth. This don't always go smooth. Typically, you do this with the uniform off. Maybe?
Yeah, we better stick that one right in there.
Congratulations, buddy. Congratulations. Thank you, sir. Congratulations. Thanks, sir. Do you have a badge? She does. That's good. Where's the key? Could I get one, please?
Thank you. Thank you, Chief. Well, again, congratulations from the council on that. It's a big achievement in our police. I would put our force up against any they're good people, and they're good at what they do. And, Chief is right, he did show me, you know, when you're coming in, and because we kind of take it for granted, like we live in a little perfect, little safe town, I think, and, they do a great job of keeping it that way. So, from our seat up here, thank you for all those officers, so. All right. Moving on, council liaison reports, library and school board, Councilperson Fisher.
They have a, great pumpkin contest going on. Tomorrow's the last day to enter, so if you're interested, you better start whittling.
The roof's going up tomorrow.
Huh?
I believe the roof's going on
The
tomorrow.
roof's going up tomorrow, and we have a new, director at the library who a lot of people may already be familiar with because she was the librarian at school. So, Amy Shirley is taking over as the director for the library. That's all I have.
Thank you, sir. I will say the windows being painted is a nice touch down there. Like, there's just a lot of the flowers, the outside. I noticed the parking lot got sealed. Like, the upkeep on the library is doing just an excellent job lately. So, Ms. Shirley is taking that spot nicely. Councilperson Bailey for Park Board, I believe we went to the first Park Board meeting last week.
Yes, we did.
And, Hickey White Park is coming right along. They, got their pavement poured, and, I think we're waiting on lights, and we'll be doing a bathroom. Mr. Friedmeier and Mr. Turner, and I believe a couple of us are gonna put on some tool belts and get that bathroom built, and, we have an update on the line striping.
We reached out with Jokers today. Mark was out sick.
Okay.
He was checking on the lights. He was gonna get this tomorrow.
No, I mean, it's looking good. It's
Yeah,
just,
I'm hoping next week but
right. No, it'll be,
for 5 days of rain next week, so.
oh, wow. Didn't know that. Councilperson, anything else on that? Nothing else, right?
No, no.
All right, planning and zoning, Councilperson Friedmeier.
We have a meeting on the seventh, November the seventh at 6:30, and, that's all I have.
All righty, thank you very much. Zoning Appeals Board, Councilperson Ginever?
Mr. Sullivan, tells me there's no activity.
Well, that's a good thing. Good deal. Does anyone in the audience wish to speak on anything related to the previous council meeting on September 23rd, 2024? None. Moving on to old business, I have none. Make sure I'm right. And then new business, Mr. McKinney, you have the floor, sir.
How's everybody this evening? Thank you, Mayor and Council, for letting me come in and speak. We appreciate the opportunity, and also coming in quickly in just where we're at with, as you mentioned, the state of the world and just where things are falling. We're seeing timelines move up quickly. So I'm presenting information to you all that I got on Friday and met with Jason and Shelley today at 1:30. And we'll kind of go over the highlights, and, you know, if there's any questions, certainly there's things that we can discuss in general here, but then anytime we have to get down to any, you know, specifics, we could always have a special session or something like that, if there's more details that are needed than just the high-level discussion. So the first thing that I wanted to mention, part of the reason for getting the information in more quickly is that, as everyone is aware in our area, or if you're not aware, there's been a lot of ongoing discussion between Mercy's Health Systems and Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield, which the only reason that that is applicable to you guys is that Anthem owns HealthLink Network, which is whom we have used successfully for many, many years as the administrator for the network accessibility, right, for the employees of the city. And so, as of the most recent information that I have, they are still in active negotiations. What does that mean? I assume that means they're actively negotiating right now. Does that mean that they have an answer? No. Will they have an answer? I hope so. Do we have definitive proof of that? No, we do not. Not at this juncture. Okay, so that's one reason that we are having initial discussion. When that first went out, of course it is a concern of me and you all and everybody in our area, to be frank. But, you know, my hope is that two massive entities will put the best realities of all the many, many people that they manage and come to an agreement that is amenable to both of them, right? But we also couldn't sit on our heels and said, hey, we need to start the process of not only remarketing, but looking externally just to have a potential option. So we will discuss that today. The other component is that with a self-funded plan, we have the ability that the third-party administrator, the TPA, is going out, and not just this year, but every year, we are checking multiple different carriers from a stop-loss perspective, right? So you guys are always purchasing the minimum amount of insurance that is required to keep the plan in movement, but then also looking at those stop-loss carriers is something that we have to take very seriously as the market becomes more intense and as the cost for medical services continues to grow just in general. So right now, from an inflationary trend standpoint, we have medical inflation running in the high double digits, okay? How does that look from this renewal perspective? And I gave you guys spreadsheets, and there is a lot of information on those spreadsheets, and I don't want to take you line by line unless you want me to, but what I wanted to focus on was just a few highlights. So if we're looking, number one, on the first page, you have the current and you have renewal option one from your existing stop-loss carrier, which is ISU Companion, an A-plus rated carrier. And you'll also notice right below that this is the option that is most closely matching the current with the existing provider, which is HealthLink, okay? When you're bottoming down and moving through that, if you'll get to the second page, it is showing a total percentage increase of both fixed costs and projected utilization on the self-funded stop-loss at a 9.48% renewal increase, okay? When you're looking at the other options next to that, you're seeing if you're looking away from a 12-12 contract to a 12-14 or a 14-12, you've always stayed with a 12-12 that you have managed well. It requires additional communication in the fourth quarter, but you have used that to your advantage previously, historically. When you're looking at the options from the next closest competitor, which was Nationwide from a stop-loss perspective, you're looking at increases of 32.29%, 24.51%, and 45.53%, okay? So the current stop-loss carrier with Companion is by far and away the most competitive. The rest of the individuals that you'll see further back in the packet that was all sent out to them, they just declined to quote. Why did they decline to quote? Because they knew they couldn't be competitive with the existing rates from Companion. So one thing that I can say historically, and we've seen it every year, and I can brag on the employees of the City of Crystal City, is that they understand both how this plan functions, and they also do an incredible job of trying to manage in-network utilization as much as possible. So typically, historically, we have them using in-network providers at well over a 90 percentile, which is incredibly high, okay? If you're looking at the second page down, we did run an alternate quote with the same stop-loss company, but then looking at Cigna PPO as an alternative network provider just to see how that looked comparison and how it played out against HealthLink. So Cigna is a little bit more expensive to rent their network, and their discounts are a little bit lower than HealthLink. But if you look at that average percentage, they were about 1.7% below HealthLink. In a normal world, would I ever recommend that you make a global change for something that is working well for a 1% differential change? And the answer is no, because you have, as I said to you guys, and they were also amenable, because I'm calling Shelley late on a Friday going, can we meet at my one opening on a Monday? And they made that happen. So I appreciate that as well. Because I never want to rush for the sake of rushing, but I also realize when I have a firm quote in that says we've got it firm until October 31st, in a market with the uncertainties that we are facing currently, I don't want to ask for an extension unless you tell me, and I don't want to have a chance for something to have to go back through underwriting if something crazy happens from a person's health perspective in the next 30 or 40 days, right? So when I say that I'm not a rush for the sake of rushing person, but in the modern current context where we're at, I think that there is benefit to take what is there from that perspective. The concept of realistically, if there wasn't the discussion of Anthem and HealthLink and Mercy, I don't think we would have even entertained the thought of looking at Cigna, because you've had such a positive run with the employees and the utilization of the HealthLink network. We did it to show where was that disparity, and that's the part where, you know, I'm getting pushed on a daily basis. Well, Dave, how do you think this is going to play out? And I've had the humble realization that neither one are calling me and asking my opinion. So I know you're shocked, right? But that's the reality of where I look at it. So am I hopeful, truly, that they're going to reach some sort of a decision? But I can't say that definitively because it just isn't my decision to make. So just highlight bullet points. Number one, and what I'm consistently seeing, the renewal itself is very, very good, okay? When you look at the renewal in comparison to the alternatives that were marketed, and the 11 companies, 10 of which declined to quote due to being uncompetitive with Companion, that gives me way more than enough market penetration to understand that the renewal with Companion is priced appropriately, and also goes to demonstrate Companion's desire to not only have continued to work, but to keep working in a functional way with the city. And to me, that's as good as you can hope for in today's market from a loyalty perspective. Okay?
No, I appreciate that. The timeline, I understand it was crunched and fast. I appreciate you working and getting us the best rate possible, because like you said, it can move up and fluctuate quite a bit. For less than 1%, I assume just to keep it's our vote, but for 1%, I think our insurance is pretty good where it's at. I know that our benefit package is what keeps some people working here, because it's a very good benefit package. And
not only is it good and consistent, but it has remained consistent from a plan design perspective, which I think is something that people count on a day-to-day basis.
Just to fill everybody on the board, I think our insurance runs from December to December, correct?
January 1st.
January 1st too. So it's through December, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Through December 31st.
So it goes from year to year instead of like our actual budget from April. So we're a little bit ahead of the game, but we're doing this to kind of lock in the rates because it could be a little volatile coming up.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yes.
Just to sum that up, and
Good summary.
I would entertain a motion to approve the insurance policy and keep it with the company HealthLink. Is my opinion. If anybody has any questions, Mr. McKinney is the one to ask. He's been ever since I've been on council, he's been coming up and talking, and he's very thorough, he knows his stuff, and
19 years now.
Yeah.
So does and understand, or what I understand, that the Cigna plan does not have the Mercy complication?
So, not yet. And what I mean by that is, and not to get too deep into the weeds, but it's a very important question. So, oftentimes, from any provider's standpoint, the network negotiations that are negotiated by whomever you're using from a network perspective and what they're negotiating with the major players is sometimes as valuable or oftentimes more valuable than the actual other pieces of the insurance that you're purchasing, right? So those contractual negotiations happen at a very high level, and they happen sometimes annually, sometimes biannually. Sometimes some of those contracts are set up on a 2 to 3 year basis because the lift to negotiate them is incredibly high, right? And so, to my understanding, and this is just what I'm seeing, through the looking glass, but I believe that Anthem and Mercy were coming up on a normal contract negotiation that was set to expire 1/1 of 2025, that they are just having some more pushback. And I think part of the pushback comes, and I try to not demonize either side of an argument, but I think part of the pushback is coming from the simple reality that when we have double-digit inflationary trend pushing the cost of medical services, I think it is stretching all of us personally and professionally thin regardless of how you are getting your accessibility to medical services. Will that be addressed? I don't know. Once again, people in D.C. are very rarely asking my opinion before they pass fiscal policy. It also hurts my feelings. But when I make that statement that I professionally am really curious to watch what is happening between Mercy and the biggest provider of individual coverage in the state of Missouri, because if they're, and that's what my hope is, that they're going to get it resolved. But if they do not, I think it sets a potential precedent to go, how are these negotiations going to go between the next carrier and the next carrier and the next carrier? Because as we have seen the consolidation, right, we all remember when you were dealing with a lot of what? Independent hospital systems. Had some positives, had some negatives, but the reality is that when you look at our market, we basically have what? BJC, Mercy, and then there's still a holdout from SSM. So it pools those components of negotiations become much more weighty. So my statement would be there isn't a known issue now with Cigna's network, but I don't know when their contract is up for renegotiation, nor do I know how that would play out. Boy, that was a long answer to a short question. Thank you. Okay.
The answer, the understanding I needed.
Okay, no problem.
When I look,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, when I look at this list in my past HR experience, and I see that nobody's competitive,
With Companion.
I mean, to me, it's pretty much a slam dunk. It really is.
I agree, but I'm curious, what kind of a difference will this make? It looks like the coverage is comparable across the board, but what kind of a difference will it make, if any, to the employees using these services?
Yeah, so number one, and part of the reason why a self-funded approach is so valuable is it, yeah.
Can you explain the self-funded, just so everyone's
sure.
up to date on that? Because I think some of us are, but.
Yeah, and we'll just go over that just very briefly, and I'll try to, Lord knows, people know I tend to be wordy, and I don't mean to be, but it's a complex component. So you have the concept of you can have a fully insured insurance contract, and ultimately what that means is all you're responsible for is to pay the insurance company the large amount of ever-increasing premiums, and then they're responsible for what else is left as far as adjudicating those claims, okay? So that's the set it and forget it, more simple option, and it's not a negative option, especially if you have, the less healthy, older, aging population. It can sometimes be the only course of viability from that perspective, right? But then what the city has done and maintained for many, many years, definitely ahead of the curve from that perspective, is they have chosen to look at a self-funded model, which that doesn't mean you're fully self-funded, but it means that you have set up a stipulation to where the city is responsible for the first $40,000 of claims, which is the individual stop loss for each covered person, and then you step in and you purchase insurance to both cover individuals' claims that exceed that amount, and then you have also purchased a level of aggregate insurance coverage to where it provides additional protection. If you have a bunch of people that exceed that limit, you're still capping your maximum out-of-pocket exposure. But ultimately what it does is it gives you the flexibility to A, go out and market the stop-loss coverages and those things independently, and still have the ability to maintain, as Mayor said, the strong plan design and benefits design that directly positively affects the employees and keeps higher retention, I think, honestly, because people see the value of that when they're actively utilizing it. So, Rick, to answer that question, how would it affect the end users? This is not changing the plan design at all, and that's the benefit of it being decoupled, because if you're in a fully insured model, what levers do you have to pull? Well, we've got a 28% renewal increase, and the only option that we have if we're non-competitive from other marketing standpoints is, well, let's just move to a $3,000 or a $4,000 or a $5,000 deductible. Is that a way to control premiums? Absolutely. Is it a positive respect when you're just cost shifting the cost back to the members? It depends on how the, yeah, I see that as typically the answer is no. Sometimes it's a moment of desperation, but it's something that through the additional work and responsibility, you have managed to navigate those waters very successfully for many years.
All right, thank you for that. So,
Yeah.
Crystal City has how many belly buttons?
From an employee standpoint, I think we're about 58. From a number of covered lives, I think we're at, well, I mean from employees, but then belly buttons, I think we're
about 100.
Approaching 100.
Yeah, so our insurance plan affects about 105 people,
Lives.
but roughly, yeah,
Yeah.
lives. So that was just one of the things that I wanted to point out. That's pretty much all I have. Does anybody else have any questions over this? So basically the insurance, all their coverage, everything stays the exact same. We have a 9.48% increase, which is
on the fixed cost.
on the fixed cost.
Correct.
Which
So
is-
on the actual insurance
Okay.
component, which where I said is running about half of what trend is at the moment.
Okay, that's what I wanted.
Yeah.
The inflationary impact is about half, so.
About $12,000 annually, $1,000 a month is what our,
From a fixed cost.
from our fixed cost that's
Correct.
coming up.
Right. All right.
Make a motion, do we have a motion on the table? Or you need
Nope, I need a motion.
Motion to approve the proposal from Ryan, special benefits.
I'll second that.
All right. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on that?
And that's remaining with HealthLink. Correct.
Remaining with HealthLink. That changes zero
Yes.
stuff for our members and raises our cost just half of what the inflationary.
Correct.
Okay, just those numbers that we got. All right, yeah, I'm interested in that. So I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Guys, I appreciate it, and then with your approval, I will just, since we're on a very short timeline, I will work with Jason and Shelley to actually make it happen before we run out of that scary Halloween deadline.
So
Okay?
we have the Halloween deadline, and that will happen for 1/1/25, correct?
Correct, and so the only benefit of seeing me now is unless you just miss me, you don't have to see me in
No,
November.
that'll work, And their insurance cards, everything stays the same, so, nope, I appreciate you coming in, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, well, that moves us on to ordinances and resolutions. And I'll entertain a motion to read Bill 1963-2024 on its first reading by title only. This is going to be, I'll read it real quick. That is our STBG grant, our program for Missouri Avenue. Mr. Turner, you have anything to add to that? None? That's fine. Sorry to put you on the spot, I know. Jason was gonna talk on it. All the information is in there. We've It's the same program, it's the same grant program, all the information is there. It's going to add sidewalks up up Missouri on the left-hand side to my knowledge. Mr. Kemfer, right? Yeah, so.
That's all the way to Crystal Highway.
Yeah.
Flagship Drive?
At Flagship Drive is where, it says it ends on Flagship Drive to 11th Street, storm sewer improvements, asphalt resurfacing, and pavement striping. Curbs on both sides, 6-foot wide ADA sidewalks on one side. So, it did say 6 feet. I thought we said 5.
Well, they were talking in the meeting like it was 4, I knew that could be, but.
It says 6, but I know we can adjust that when time is coming.
My only question about it is this thing, and I don't have my glasses.
Okay.
They have to submit some kind of preliminary plans by November 2024.
It says obtain environmental clearance 11/2024, and then develop and submit prelim plans 11/2024. Yeah, that's their first start date of it, and then they have 8 months for a finish date of 7.
Do you think they have any of it started? I would say they did, because they've been doing preliminary.
Yeah, they've been doing.
Yeah, they've been doing, surveys?
We met with, Cochran 2-3 weeks ago on the stormwater part, basically at that fire hydrant all the way down to the old Quincy car wash a couple weeks ago, so. I mean, they've got, I would imagine, we just seen the stormwater part, but I imagine the sidewalks of the road is probably going right along.
I was gonna say, I seen the stormwater stuff, cause they were gonna increase the pipe size and stuff and how to send it through.
Sure, so you've got elevations, really.
Yeah.
What I need to know. Yeah, okay.
I don't know that at all, though.
Yeah, they should have. I mean, we voted in March. Yeah. To give them $100,000 to start. Yeah.
Yeah, they got all the survey and stuff done over the summer probably, and they're probably doing all their design plans, probably started in August, so they should be going out.
Okay. Yeah, and some of that $100,000 was supposed to be for the stormwater.
Yeah, like it was 50 and 50, I think.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to read ordinance 1963-2024 on title by title only.
All right.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Madam Clerk, can I have the first reading of Bill 1963-2024 by title only, please?
Bill number 1963-2024 on its first reading by title only. An ordinance of the City of Crystal City, Missouri, authorizing the mayor, Mike Osher, to enter into a surface transportation block grant program agreement with the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission for the Missouri Avenue Project, STBG-5403.
Thank you, ma'am. I'll need a motion to approve that bill.
Make a motion to approve ordinance 1963-2024 on its first reading.
Second.
A motion has been made and seconded to accept Bill 1963-2024 on its first reading by title only. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
Make a motion to read ordinance 1963-2024 by title only for its second reading.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Madam Clerk, can I have the second and final reading of Bill 1963-2024 by title only, please?
Bill number 1963-2024 on its second and final reading by title only. An ordinance of the City of Crystal City, Missouri, authorizing the mayor, Mike Osher, to enter into a surface transportation block grant program agreement with the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission for the Missouri Avenue Project, STBG-5403.
Thank you, ma'am.
Make a motion to approve ordinance 1963-2024 on its second and final reading by title only. Second.
Perfect. A motion has been made and seconded to approve Bill 1963-2024 on its second and final reading by title only. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. I'll poll the council. Councilperson Kemfer?
Yes.
Councilperson Ginever?
Yes.
Councilperson Friedmeier?
Yes.
Councilperson Fisher?
Yes.
Councilperson Bailey?
Yes.
Councilperson Winkleman?
Yes.
Thank you. Bill number 1963-2024 now becomes ordinance 1963-2024. Is that correct, Madam Clerk? Yes, sir. All righty. The next, ordinance is going to be something that just kind of cleans up our receivables. And basically what that is just an ordinance for the city. If you guys have read through your packet, we're just zeroing out, receivables from the water account, from previous, bills going back to 2010, 2011. They're just uncollectible bills. Some of them are from the old, basically the old software system that we don't even have the last pay dates and stuff on. So it's just stuff that we've implemented basically in the last 3 years. We've implemented some different things to not have that. We've increased, and a lot of these are from like rental properties and stuff, so we've increased the deposit for rental properties. And then we've done a better job of contacting the homeowner, because the homeowner is ultimately responsible for that. So like the landlord, whenever they're renting a house, then they have to give the landlord information, because the landlord is then responsible for this. So once we get these receivables taken care of, we'll have a better understanding of what our account is. So, that's that ordinance. If you guys have any other questions, Shelley would be the one to ask on that. That's pretty much the extent of my knowledge. I would always ask Barb, hey, what is, and they're like, well, we have accounts receivable at this, but we don't ever get it. I'm like, well, why is it on the books? How do we get rid of that? So I ask about, like a collections firm or something like that, and it's like, well, they take a percentage, you're not gonna get much of it anyway. You can sell your debt to them, but it wasn't an option that I thought was viable, so. This was the best option that Barb and Jason, I guess Shelley came up with, so.
I was a little surprised to look back at some of these dates, they go back years.
Oh, yes, yeah, and we can't talk,
So when they switched over, something didn't carry over, or I'm not for sure on that.
yeah, and there's names on there, there shouldn't have been names, we should have redacted the names, but is what it is at that point, but.
And that was the thing, I mean, they're familiar names, there are people who are still current.
I'm like, I wouldn't even get it, because it's $1.25, I don't know why I wouldn't have paid $1.25.
Right.
Well, and that's the thing, but it's from '09, I think hers is from like,
There's a lot of $1.25.
Yeah, that's pretty nice, I don't know.
I don't know, but it's just sloppy, and basically to clear it up, we just need to pass an ordinance to get those off the books, cause that's, when I got that on Friday, I was like, Shelley, what's the issue here? Since you opened the door, right, and, it's just one of those things, like I said, it'll clear it up, and, we'll have a fresh base, so.
So, but there are some 2024s on this list as well, I mean,
Yeah,
it's not,
including-
I thought,
I believe,
Including the sewage commission.
including the Suez Commission, and there's one from May.
I think we agreed to write that off, the Suez Commission, when they bought it.
Okay, okay.
and then it's 4 months of zero activity or something like that.
And then like renters, we have, like for the owner, we have, I think, is it 90 days to contact the owner of the rental property with the outstanding bill.
But I ran through here and looked at names, and, we're gonna change a couple of policies on, I say a couple of policies. There's some people that work in the city that are on our list to
Yeah,
where,
that was the names that were,
and that's the
Shelley's
name.
name, it wasn't Shelley's name, but there
Not
were
the
the names.
$1.25, but there's some things that was my question. And no, but it was one of those things to where, like, if it's our employees, it's one of those things that we need to have a better handle on of, how it works. But again, some of those that I was referencing go back to like 2014, something like that, so
There's some
it's just,
06s and 08s on here too, so it's.
yeah, so it's just,
The old system, because like if I pull up my name in 2009, it shows a zero balance.
Uh-huh.
It doesn't show $1.25 in the new system.
Mhm.
So I think it's just something that's hanging up in the old system with the older dates.
so,
Make a motion to read ordinance 1964-2024 on its first reading by title only.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on that? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Madam Clerk, can I have the first reading of Bill 1964-2024 by title only, please?
Bill number 1964-2024 on its first reading by title only, an ordinance of the City of Crystal City, Missouri, authorizing a write-off and destruction of files for uncollectible utility accounts.
Thank you, ma'am. Where am I at?
Motion to approve.
Yep, I need that.
Motion to approve ordinance 1964-2024 on its first reading by title only.
Second.
A motion has been made and seconded to accept Bill 1964-2024 on its first reading by title only. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
Make a motion to read ordinance 1964-2024 for its second and final reading by title only.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Madam Clerk, can I have the second and final reading of Bill 1964-2024 by title only, please?
Bill number 1964-2024 on its second and final reading, an ordinance of the City of Crystal City, Missouri, authorizing a write-off and destruction of files for uncollectible utility accounts.
Thank you.
Make a motion to approve ordinance 1964-2024 on its second and final reading by title only.
Second.
A motion has been made and seconded to approve Bill 1964-2024 on its second and final reading by title only. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. I will poll the council for approval. Councilperson Bradley? Councilperson Kemfer?
Yes.
Councilperson Ginever?
Yes.
Councilperson Freemeyer?
Yes.
Councilperson Fisher?
Yes.
Councilperson Bailey?
Yes.
Councilperson Winkleman?
Yes.
Bill number 1964-2024 now becomes ordinance 1964-2024. Is that correct, Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. And that moves us to our resolution, our fourth one of the year. Resolution approving a project within the meaning of Chapter 349 Revised Statutes of Missouri of the Industrial Development Authority of the County of Jefferson, Missouri, to be located in the city of Crystal City, Missouri. Mr. Turner, this is pertaining to the road on VFW.
I'm sorry,
No.
yes, North Access Road.
This is North Access Road, correct?
This is Riverview Bend Apartments?
Hold on. I might be wrong. I'm wrong. That's something else. Yeah, no.
Oh, yeah, Riverview Bend.
Yeah, no. Sorry about that. I got my resolutions wrong. Yeah, this is a, resolution for the, Riverview Apartments being rehabbed and fixed. So basically the project consists of the acquisition, rehabilitation of a 94 multi-family housing development located. Basically, we just need to say like, hey, it's going in and we approve of that. They're using federal money to rehab those buildings and they need the city's approval to use that money, to my understanding. So there's no downside for us. It's Riverview Bend Apartments are getting a facelift. One of the ladies contacted me about, they thought those kids were in school because there's several kids that live in those apartments. They are going to relocate those kids and bus them to their district, but it's unfortunately Festus School District, so it's what it is. But they're gonna fix up those apartments and they just need a resolution showing that we approve of that, so.
It's millions of dollars, right? It's not just like $25 million paint, you know, and bushes, it's a parking lot and everything.
Yeah, it's a,
Permits to do that.
yeah, it's a pretty,
Make it look really nice, so.
it's a nice thing. And we only have to do a resolution, so it's just a majority thing, so.
So you need a motion to approve resolution number
That's all I need.
42024?
Yeah, I just need a motion and a second, that's it. So,
Second, I guess.
I made the motion, yes.
Mr. Winkleman made it.
Second.
Mr. Freemeyer, second. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Mr. Eisenbice's report is here. We got a couple things we need to discuss on his report. We need to have a motion to move our December council meeting to December 16th. So I'll entertain a motion to move our December council meeting to December 16th.
So move.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. So our December council meeting will be December 16th. And then there's a little paragraph next. His discussion was Tuesday, December 31st and Wednesday, January 1st are city holidays. Do we wish to, how the calendar falls? We gave, there's a calendar right on that wall, but 24th, Christmas Eve, the workers get off, and the 25th of December for Christmas they get off, and the council already approved for the 23rd. Is that correct, Ms. Teacher? Yeah, sorry about that. Basically, the next week. Yeah, no, so the next one, basically it's just the following week, because they're gonna be off to New Year's Eve.
You're good, Jack.
And here, so basically, if we need a motion to give them an extra day off on that, the 30th. It was brought to his attention, he just put it in his report. It's up for us to discuss. I mean, we have them on a Monday. I honestly don't even know how many.
Are they off on the first as
Yes.
well?
Yes.
Yes, we did, so it falls exactly like Christmas, we're off Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, and then you guys approved the 23rd for that Monday, and then New Year's falls the same way.
So, like I said, it's up to you guys. I don't have an opinion one way or the other on this. it's, you call them in on a Monday, or you give them an extra time. That's it, so.
So,
I think that it's one day and it's Christmas, so personally, I think that we should go ahead and just give them the extra day.
yeah.
Is that a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we give them the extra day.
All right,
I'll second that.
so I have a motion and a second to give them, Monday, December 30th off. Any discussion on that?
Yeah, I don't wanna be the Grinch, but especially for the Christmas, and I understand that, and we didn't do it this year for the 4th of July where we added it. We did that last year where we added, we're gonna be off on Tuesday, why don't we just give them off Monday too? And there's 16 red X's up there already that, and as a benefits package goes, that's a lot of holidays, for an in a schedule. So, I'm not gonna vote against it, I just wanna point out there's.
No, I think our staff is,
Package, and they're great. I think our staff is great, and the people that work for the city are outstanding. We're really getting stronger, so we have strong leadership, we have strong staff, we've met more great police officers today, and that's several in the audience. What we can do for them.
I think it's a very nice gesture. I mean, I do understand, because I was calculating up, because if you calculate the days that we give them off, and then their sick time and vacation time, they're edging in on how often these teachers get off too. I don't know. Yeah, they're trying to catch up, so that's, it's one of those things. I mean, I think we have a good environment, but.
So next year, it's gonna not, it'll be Monday, you have to give them Monday and Tuesday, or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
I don't think, I think it's a one-time kind of situation, just how the calendar falls, because, you know, and again, I come from a teaching background, our breaks are different each year, and it depends on the day, so.
So Danny, will you be picking trash, like Monday and Tuesday will be on that Thursday, and then Friday would be Wednesday and Thursday?
Yes.
It'll be you doing it, everybody else as well.
I'll have to look at the calendar now.
All right, well, I have a motion and a second, that's our discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. The December 30th gets a red X mark as well. All right, reading down his list, if you guys have any questions about that, I'm sure he'll be back tomorrow or the next day. My mayor's report, I don't really have much on this month. We were busy, our paving got done, throughout town on that. That was a large project that got done, and, our overages, our street department did a very good job of bailing us out. I think I covered that in the work session. And, Halloween's coming up. It'll be on Thursday, so watch out for those little kids going around. And other than that, I don't have anything. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak on anything? None? That works. I will go to round table council comments. Councilperson Kemfer?
Mr. Wakeman, we received a letter. Yes. And I called the homeowner, and then I texted Daniel and, Curtis. I don't know what happened. Whenever I called him and talked to him. Yep. And I was gonna send an email, and sitting here now, I remember that.
I emailed him as
Okay.
well,
Okay.
had communication with him as well, and actually talked to Dan
Okay.
about it.
Well, I should have.
They're gonna try to, I drove up there, take a look
Yeah,
at it
yeah.
on the Review Heights Drive, and, they looked at it, and if they get a chance to help them out, they're gonna.
Hopefully have some leftover asphalt tomorrow.
Okay, great. Yeah, just, you know, and the neighbor looked like they put a pipe in that didn't help either, but.
Well, they put that whole driveway in, and they didn't have no pipe, and all the rock got washed out, and they tried to blame it on us. I'm like, well, you cut the curb, put the driveway in, put the rock in, it washed away.
Sure.
That's on you. So,
Well,
the dead end of Riverview Heights, where lining up those two houses.
Well, and cars would sure go there, and there's nowhere to turn around. Amazon trucks and everybody else, I can imagine where, yeah, if it's just loose gravel or just some potholes.
That resident was doomed for failure, who he bought that house from, made it almost impossible for city trucks to go past that first utility pole when you make the crest. And then guys you get used to not going down there, they get told not to go down there because it was private until Lenny built those houses, I guess. And then he extended the road past the utility pole, from my gathering on that one. So,
I didn't.
kind of a weird situation, but Yeah, well, hopefully have some asphalt to fix that spot.
Okay, thank you.
Riverview Heights.
One of them.
But we have it handled from our end. Okay,
Thank you.
doing what we can. All right, Mr. Ginever.
I just wanted to mention, some things that happened with the, Historical Society in the last couple of weeks. We got a visit from a Windsor Rose, Windsor Rose grew up in Crystal City. Yeah, I know he's exactly Rick's age because he's my age too.
We were in the same class.
Were you? Okay. Well, and he got a optometrist degree and moved to Garden City, Kansas, which is, well, it's way out there. But anyway, he's been gone for like 40 years. But anyway, he's the grandson. Oh, really? He's the grandson of Vincent and Rose Salvo. And Vincent and Rose Salvo built the building that Dan and Jason have their offices in right now. Back in, I think, probably 1925 or so. And the reason I'm saying that is because at that time, City Hall was here, it was a different City Hall. That burnt in 1981. But it was, you know, it went out to the street there further, and then I think it probably stopped somewhere around there. And there was another building between City Hall and that building, which is a movie theater.
Yeah.
And before it was a covered movie theater, it was called the Crystal City Air Dome. Rose Salvo got a bench out of that theater before they put a roof on it, and has saved it all these years. And Windsor had that bench, and he said, nope, none of my kids want this bench. I live in Kansas. Nobody knows what Crystal City is there. You want the bench? I said, yeah, give me the bench. Give me the bench. So the bench is now safely in the Crystal City Museum at the Girl Scout House. And it's a great, well, it's, if you can imagine too, wood from that era was like really sturdy and really hard. So it's a good sturdy bench. Yeah, right. And we also got well, actually this was kind of a Facebook kind of battle for old magazines. The Jefferson County Historical Society and us, a lady said, we've got a whole bunch of old glass rays and PPG, it's called PPG People magazines. And I've been collecting those so that we can scan them in, because we're missing some pretty significant ones. And I won that battle, so I've got those. That was Karen McCarty. Now, Karen McCarty grew up right up the street. Now, you guys probably know the families a lot better than I do, but there's Hugs Landing, and then there's about 4 or 5 houses right next to David Tidd's house now, if anybody knows where, the guy with all the lawnmowers and stuff. So it's right, what's that?
Is that Elmer Dunker's house?
Yeah, Elmer Dunker. I was going to say she's the daughter of Elmer Dunker, who died last year, and her mother's in a nursing home, so nobody's there. And same situation, she said, none of my kids want these magazines, and we're probably just going to throw them out. And I said, nope, I'll take them. So I've got those, and I'll be scanning those in. But anyway, that was some pretty eventful stuff, kind of glad.
Does anybody remember the old Crystal Hotel? And it,
the one right down there?
and it burned down, or something happened?
The Crystal Hotel is still there.
Yeah, it's the one on First Street.
Okay,
Yeah.
It's on the corner there, as you turn to go down by the
Okay.
train depot, that's the hotel. Now, part of that did burn way before my time,
Okay.
but it used to go further up.
Oh.
Part of it burned
The
down.
barn on the property that we own at the end of Holdinghausen
Mhm.
is all hand-hung beams and everything, and they said it came out of the after the fire.
Oh, really?
Which it's getting ready to get tore down, because
Oh.
half of it's gone from the storm anyway, but anyway, yeah, they said it's from the old
Didn't know
Crystal
that.
Hotel, yeah.
Well,
So,
Jack
I'm
will
gonna
take a
try to
beam.
save the beams, the big beams that are there, that are all, so.
Yeah, if they're hand-hewn, that'd be cool.
Well, a little bit more of the story. The Salvos also, well, actually, I think it was the Roses built what is Tony Becker's house. It used to be Tony Becker's house, next to Custom Insurance, right over there too. So, didn't Windsor grew up there, right? Juaneta's house?
You know, I knew they were on Mississippi Avenue, but I couldn't swear to which house.
Okay. But anyway, they got a lot of history in this whole
Yeah.
section right
That's
here.
fine.
Yeah,
Good job
I'm
on
done,
that.
sorry.
No, that's fine, I enjoy that.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Councilperson Freemeyer.
Danny, could you, there's some loose boards on the tracks at Jefferson there?
I called him about that one, and I called about in front of, Benny's shop there on 61 and 67.
Okay,
The busted concrete, I
Yeah.
called about both of those.
okay.
So,
I know how dealing with the
railroad fashion, so
Yeah.
maybe about July, so I'll get out, I'll call him again tomorrow.
That's fine.
Thank you for that.
And, I need to get with you this week. You wanted to meet down there?
Yeah, probably Wednesday, I was gonna
Wednesday,
reach out
okay.
to me and see if Wednesday would work for
Okay,
everyone.
that'll
They
work.
ran all the water and set the meter last week, so that's done.
What
Just
time?
did the
Do you have any
sort of-
time yet? Just text me or call me.
Yeah, I'll just get with them Wednesday.
Okay, all right, sounds good. That's all I got.
Once again, what's there's pipes sticking out of the ground at the corner of, up on Crystal Heights and, Perno Drive.
Oh, the blue ones?
Yeah.
Those are water for,
For that
they,
house that's hooked up, obviously.
no, there's,
Empty lot?
yeah, there's,
Sell up for a future sale.
there's, they just,
I didn't think that far.
yeah, there's,
Somebody asked me
Set
about
up.
that and was worried about it getting hit.
Oh, yeah, no, that was just Gerard, I guess.
he piped in, yeah, I think he did.
But it's for the house behind it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
gotcha.
Yep, all right, Councilperson Fisher.
I don't have anything.
All righty, thank you, sir. Councilperson Bailey.
I will say that I did enjoy the night out down at the park.
Yeah.
Good to see everybody down there.
Well, good.
So, other than that, peaceful.
Keep going on, all right. Oh, I did forget to say, I might not that we're getting there, but leaf pickup is starting and, Monday, and they're just gonna go around town. At first, they're just gonna go around, and then leaf pickup with the machine will happen all the way till, the new year. And then it'll stop in January, then from that point on, rake it up and go from there. So they will go around town, pick it up for the best, and then they will address it as wards. So like, most people don't do their leaves until they see the leaf truck, and then they'll blow them all out there, and then, so that's, we send them out.
Next week, we'll try to do all that running around, and probably middle of November, we'll start going by the board.
Okay, and then again, I apologize, but the, GPS on all the vehicles were on. I didn't see that in Jason's report,
Yeah,
but,
so it was a little troubleshoot as of this morning, all of them were working except for Robert's, only because it's in a bag in my desk.
okay.
That's like a deal for a conference.
But it's gonna be one of those things to where it helps out on maintenance, which we've already approved all that, but it also, like, the street sweeper, it has that. So when we get calls like, hey, it hasn't done, not that we have to validate ourselves, but just to, here it is, this is what we look at, and Mr. Turner and Mr. Eisenbach's done a good job on that, so thank you. That's something that I really looked for, so. All right, moving on, Councilperson Winkleman.
I was gonna mention the street department work looks good, all the overlay, and then
Yeah.
I'm working again today on Mississippi Avenue, fixing that big chunk. But then I was gonna go and talk about the leaves and how I was excited to see the report had leaves because we have lots of leaves. And, last year, I think they started a little bit more generalized, vacuuming the leaves, and appreciate that the leaf truck will be coming around,
Yep,
this fall.
absolutely.
Fallen dry Thursday last week, and I was like, holy cow, I guess we're starting Monday.
Yeah, it started, and, yep,
They turned and then it's like, in my field, yeah, they turned and now it's gone.
Yep.
You know, it's like one.
yeah, it's awful windy.
And I also wanted to say thanks to Jack for the emails and updates that he sent, regarding.
Absolutely.
I really, they haven't, somebody replied often back, but I really appreciate, any of those updates.
Yeah,
That you provide on that property behind us.
I read them all. I mean, it's good, because that's something, I don't even know where you pull that info, well, I click on that link and it has it, but, yeah, that's good information.
I pay attention to that stuff.
I appreciate seeing.
You're on top of it.
Well, I'm full of it, I'll just put it that.
Treasurer Terry, you have anything to add, sir?
Better not.
Sounds good. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, we are adjourned.
All right.
Yep.